This is the final video of me addressing racism. So you're already 3 in, possibly 4 in, depending on where you are. Racism has festered in America since before I was born. Racism still festers in America if you're up to speed on the video that I just finished. Racism is one of these things that no matter what we do, no matter what color we are, no matter what gender we are, it is the one constant that no matter what, you can't change it, but you can fix it. Because you can't change your race. You can't change anything genetically about your race. You can't. Many have tried. Few have succeeded. But, skin bleaching, apparently it's a thing. Self-hate is how you first stop racism. Self-hatred is how you first stop racism, especially when it's reverse racism. When it's always black on black on black on black on black on black on black. The first thing you gotta do is first stop hating your other black people. It's not something that people can effectively get a choice in. When you're born, you have no say in who your parents are. You have no say in what your ethnicity is. You have no say in what your culture is. You have no say of where the fuck you're gonna be born at. You just know that you're going to pop out of your mom and welcome to the world. Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. It's when you are being raised and when you are growing up, did you learn about racism? Now, a lot of people raise racist. And that's not just white people. Let's get that shit twisted. That's not just white people. The fact of the matter is that there's just as many black racists and Asian racists as white racists. And people don't understand that. And people don't want to own it. Oh, I'm not a racist. I just didn't like that nigger. I'm not a racist. I just didn't like that chink. Oh, I'm not a racist. I just don't like working with honkies. I'm doing those racial derivatives to prove a fucking point. I'm not a racist. I don't want to sit beside that spick, so I'm going to sit in the back of the room where I can't see the work and fail this class rather than sit in the front of the room next to the only chair that's open next to the spick. Or the gook, or the chink, or the nigger, or the honky, or whatever ethnicity you aren't that those words have been flying out of your mouth. Now, for those who don't understand what I'm saying, why did I use those racial derivatives? Because everyone has used them at least once. At least once. I once called my uncle a nigger because I was called a nigger. And then when I was called a nigger in school, I once punched a white girl in the mouth. I've never forgiven myself for punching her in the mouth. Everybody's saying, well, James, she called you a nigger. That's no excuse for me to hit her in the mouth. I was a martial artist by then. I knew right from wrong. And though she wronged me, I had no need to punch her in the mouth. I also busted her lip. And to that young lady, whose name will remain nameless, I am sorry. I'm sorry I did it. I'm not sorry why I did it, if that makes sense. I am sorry I punched her in the mouth. But for everyone who's with me and said that I was in the right for punching in the mouth for calling me a nigger, I didn't get in trouble. I got in trouble until our parents had to come to school and the Italian principal, Mr. Garrett, fixed all that because he got on my case and told me I had to tell him why. And my mom, as long as I have been alive until this day, I have never heard her call anybody a fucking nigger. Now, ever. And it's not because she can pass as white. It's just that's just not how we were raised. We didn't call people niggers. We didn't call people honkies. We didn't call people chinks. We didn't call people japs. We didn't call people gooks. We didn't call people spicks. We didn't call people half-breeds. We didn't call people mutts. We didn't call people anything offensive that would come out of somebody's mouth. And more importantly, we were not taught to be racist because we were mixed. Simple as that. My mom can go into a crowd of white people and you'll never find her. I can't do that. I might be able to go into a crowd of Mexicans or Filipinos or Hawaiians and you might not be able to find me. But if I go into a crowd of black people, this light skin kind of stands out. My funny looking eyes kind of stand out. I don't smile a lot because I look exceptionally Asian when I smile. So I also smile when I get angry. When I'm fixing to punch someone in the face, there'll be a smile there just before I try to rearrange theirs. Okay, but the point of the matter is, racism is never really addressed because you can't tell me what makes you hate a black person. You can't tell me what makes you hate an Asian person. You can't tell me what makes you hate a white person. But can you tell yourself what makes you hate them? Was it because you were raised to hate them by racist parents who had a raw deal by one person or another of that ethnicity? Probably. And so they've got it in your head, that's a white man. Don't trust the white man. The white man, the white man, the white man. Then they flip the script. If your parents are white, that's a nigger. That's a nigger. That's a nigger. That's a nigger. There's that nigger. Don't fuck with that nigger. Don't trust that nigger. Nigger, 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 nigger. And on the black side, that's a honky, honky, honky. And then on the Asian side, you have, ooh, I'm Japanese. You are gaijin. We do not like gaijin. No teach gaijin here. Gaijin, go away. And if you're Chinese, you are guai-lo. We do not teach our secrets to the guai-lo. I just made 4 racist statements. 2 from one Asian culture, or 2 Asian cultures. 1 from a black culture, 1 from a white culture. And why did I make those statements? Because that's how racism works. If you're a Japanese person who hate white people for the takeover of Japan during the pirates era where they did trade with Europeans and samurais and shoguns and all the higher officials, let the white men come in and they raped and pillaged some women in Japan, and your family just raised for centuries to just hate the Guai-Lo and the Gaijin. Gaijin, because I was talking about Japanese. So if you were raised to hate the Gaijin, you go from generation to generation hating the Gaijin until someone in your family falls in love with a damn Gaijin, and then you're like, okay, they have a Gaijin and Japanese baby. Now you have to grow up. Because that baby didn't ask to be part Gaijin. The baby is here, the baby is innocent, and the baby is in your family. So now you will fight and kill anyone who messes with your half Gaijin baby. It's the same thing in China. You don't like the Guai-Lo, you can't stand the Guai-Lo because Guai-Lo took over Hong Kong from China, and Hong Kong prospered for a long time under the Guai-Lo, and then they gave China back. And now you have a problem with Chinese as well as Guai-Lo, because some of the Guai-Lo did not leave China or Hong Kong, they just stayed there. When the transfer came back over, some of them have lucrative businesses here and made concrete deals that they were going to stay there. So, somebody who does not like the Guai-Lo or the Gaijin marries into the Guai-Lo family. They have mixed Guai-Lo baby. You're Asians. So, now, you're no longer racist because you're in love with that innocent half Guai-Lo, half Chinese baby. So now you're going to do everything you can to protect that half Guai-Lo, half Gaijin baby. Your racist views have changed. And sometimes that's what it takes for racism to be acknowledged. It takes a racist who had a child to have a child with someone out of that race to change them. And this happens all the time. It happens with blacks, it happens with Asians, it happens with whites, everything. Same thing over here. I don't want you to marry that spick girl. Next thing you know, your son's messing with that spick girl because she's just irresistibly beautiful, and they have a little mixed baby. Half spick and half black. So what do? You want to do everything you can to protect that half spick and half black baby. Now this is where things get interesting because Native Americans also count as Mexicans, who you are calling spicks. And Native Americans are Asian. So no matter how you slice it, any Native American derivative is just as bad as saying something bad about a Chinese person or a Japanese person because Native Americans came out of the top of Mongolia. You guys can go ahead and fact check that. I lost that war, so I know this shit is true. Anyway, when you don't address racism, when you sit there and you swallow this pill that you should be regurgitating instead of swallowing it and accepting it, you should be dealing with racism instead of just saying, we're just going to sweep that shit under the rug. There's no real racism here. Bullshit. 20% of the racist people only stop being racist when someone of another race marries into their family and changes the dynamic. And then you have these people who are all about the pure this race or the pure that race, and race mixing is a crime against the Lord, and if you do this or you do that, we're going to have issues, and this is how we have this big clusterfuck in America. And you guys forget that America was taken over and women were raped and had multicultural babies. Women were killed and had multicultural babies. women were indoctrinated into tribes and had multicultural babies, and all the other things that has happened in between that. You know, it happens. Damn it, I can't spell. But you know, the whole point is when we don't address this stuff, it blows up in our face. And America has never, ever, ever addressed racism. And they still haven't addressed it. Even though 2 years ago when we had the whole alt-right debacle with whoever the hell is the leader of the guy, I forgot his damn name now, but you know, we have these issues and we don't address these issues, and then out of a sudden, out of the blue, shit happens. Just like with Miss Hayer's death. We need to all have a forum where you get 4 people from every ethnicity, every background, sit in a chair. Now, you probably should handcuff them to the chair and have security just so that no one gets up and does anything stupid. And talk about why you hate this person or that person's race. Not the person itself. You should never hate a person individually unless that person has given you a reason to hate them, like I am probably with these videos. But you know, you can't hate every black man for the actions of one black man. You can't hate every Asian man for the actions of one Asian man. You can't hate every freaking white man for the actions of another white man. You can't hate anybody for the deliverance of slavery and all the shit that they had nothing to do with. Granted, they may have been the grandchildren of those people, but that does not give you the right to hate them. They didn't ask for that. They didn't pick the family they were born into. That's not some shit that anybody has control over. But you do have control over how you address racism. People do not want to address racism because they are always going to feel that they have addressed it wrong. There is no right or wrong on racism. Racism is just fucking wrong. You know, if you don't like me because of the color of my skin, I didn't get to choose that. I love to be my mother's skin color where I could pass as a white man and have little to no problems in the world. But in the end, I'm still a man of color. That's never going to change. I could pull a Michael Jackson, get a hyperbolic chamber that bleaches my skin, and, you know, I can do that until the cows come home or until I'm light as my mom and can pass for a white man. Is that going to happen? Hell no. Because of one, I'm too damn poor. I like being high yellow. I don't like my farmer's tan, but there's nothing much I can do about it unless I wear long sleeve shirts for like maybe the next 20 years of my life to get my high yellow here to come back down here. And as you can see, I'm still high yellow on the inside. I'm just super brown on the outside, you know. But the thing is, you know, I'm not trying to get any darker. I'm exceptionally light. I have the farmer's tan. I have the Hank Hill, you know. It is what it is. I just don't wear fucking short sleeves all the time. I wear them constantly. I don't wear the long sleeves at all unless it's wintertime. You know, if it ain't wintertime, I have no need to wear the damn long sleeve shirts. And Virginia has cold ass winters. Okay? We as people need to get off our asses, pop our heads back out of our butts, put them back up here where they belong, and then open these things and these things, and then use this thing so that we can all find a way to accept each other regardless of race, regardless of gender, regardless of political standing and economic standing or wealth standing, depending on, you know, how you want to look at it. And until we do that, we're all fucked in America. Other countries don't seem to have this problem. And if they do, it's not widely broadcast. But in America, something goes wrong, or it becomes racist, it only gets worse from here. Please think about things before you do them. And if we're going to address anything in this country, address racism. Now, in closing, I want you guys to see this optical illusion that I see on this shirt. Okay, so from looking down, I can see that it's Captain America and Iron Man and everything in the Civil War. But from a distance, if you look at my shirt carefully, let's see, right there and right there, they look like eyes, and that looks like a nose right there. So these open areas, they look like eyes right here, right in there. They look like two eyes, and that looks like a nose, and this whole thing looks like a face. So whoever made this was awesome because it's two pictures in one. And you know, if you look at it real carefully from a distance, it looks like a monster right here. And I think they did that as symbolism because here's the thing, symbolism goes very far. It doesn't go as far as racism. But if we can conquer racism, it's a step towards world peace. And that's the first thing we have to do in America is learn how to get the fuck along because the land was conquered, but the people who got conquered are still in existence. Don't forget us. That's me speaking from my Native American side and my slavery side and possibly my indentured servant side because, like I said, we do have white in us. As a final thought for those who don't know, every ethnicity on this planet has had slaves. Whites, blacks, Asians. Everyone's had slaves. There is no escaping that. You guys need to read more. Google less. Read more. Or Google more, but you're still going to have to read it. I'm James Williams, News Comfort Habit number 2. Addressing racism has been the name of this video. So when I'm typing it, I'll realize what the hell it's called. But I want you guys to understand one thing for sure. The only thing you can scientifically change in the known universe right now, in our timeline, in our piece of the world, is gender. You can change your gender. You can go from a guy to a girl. There's surgery for that. But under no circumstances whatsoever have we found a magic bullet that can change you from being black, white, or Asian to whatever ethnicity you want to be. I'm blessed though because I don't have that problem. Because I've only had that problem maybe one time in my life when I had this crush on this white broad who was not allowed to date black dudes. Other than that, that was like the only time I've ever wished that I was white more than anything in the world because I wanted to marry this girl. I put a love letter on her car, all kinds of stuff. I'm leaving her name out, but she knows who she is. But her family just did not allow her to date black people. She could have them as friends, but not boyfriends. That was the only time ever that I ever wanted to be white. But being mixed is so much more fun because I got 3 cultures that I can play with, while you guys who are normal only have 1. So suck on that and address racism. Be seeing you. Comfort Havoc number 2. I'm out.